It is, of course, Todd Duboef. Todd, welcome back to the show. How are you, sir?
I'm great. How you guys doing?
Very good, thank you.
Very well,
good.
Very well indeed. Listen, I kind of give you a little bit of a synopsis of what I want to talk about. I want to obviously pick your brains on Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney in a minute, and I've no doubt we'll talk Beterbiev, we'll talk Navarrete, we'll talk Inoue. See what I mean? It's a good schedule. The Top Rank have got...
Siniesa, Estrada.
Yeah, we've got it all coming.
And I thought I was tuning in to talk about Wimbledon. What the hell? What's going on here?
Listen, we've got to start with Tyson Fury. Obviously, you guys, Top Rank, represent Tyson Fury stateside. What have you made of this week with him fighting MMA star Francis Ngannou?
Yeah, I think that together with Queensberry and Tyson, with a lot of the machinations that were being played out over the last 6 and 8 months, I said it just kind of came to be the right timing. There weren't a lot of guys that people took different fights. You had people pricing themselves out. And the one thing we know is that Tyson wants to stay active and he wants to keep fighting. And Ngannou had been talking smack about fighting Joshua. He'd been talking about fighting Wilder. I want to fight Fury. I want to fight anybody. And just things came together, and we worked with, the General Entertainment Authority to put this together for the launch of the Riyadh season. And it was great to work with Queensberry and Tyson's team and put everything together. So we're very excited about it.
It feels like, from a boxing fan's point of view, that this was kind of always the plan, Todd. Like we obviously saw Ngannou get in the ring at the end of the White fight in April of last year. And there's been a lot of talk from Tyson in particular, and I was saying this on the show a little earlier on, that he's been promising us and pointing us in the direction of an undisputed fight. And I know that you just said there that there was an uptake from certain people and things were difficult and all this type of thing. We're talking about a guy that is making his professional boxing debut. Surely there was somebody in the top 10, top 15 of the WBC that Tyson Fury could be fighting and having a boxing match that many people might put jeopardy on.
Well, I think there's two things that you overplayed here. One thing is this was a plan from the beginning. And we all know in boxing there are no plans. So that's one thing we know we can never count on. So, I'm not sure I totally 100% agree with the perspective. And I'm not a defense attorney, and I'm not going to defend, because I think, the athletes and all of us have to contribute and own what we bring to the table. There genuinely was a need and a real desire from everybody. And you ask Frank Warren, who's coming on soon. Mm-hmm. You ask George Warren. You ask Tyson. You ask his advisors. We collectively wanted to make Usyk and AJ. Those were the two priorities, without a question. I don't want anybody to mix in and say, "Oh, Ngannou was always the priority." It wasn't. So I don't know anything other than those were the pecking order. And then after that, a whole bunch of opportunities kind of played out, and we had to look at everything out there. And this one just happened to be available for the right timeline and everything.
So why did Usyk and AJ not happen then?
I think it's pretty clear. I mean, I think the AJ one was they really don't want to fight Tyson. We know that, right? We've sent them offer after offer. And I don't want to start pointing fingers, because that's really what goes on in this sport all the time. Mm-hmm. He's to blame. And I don't want to get in that. And at the end of the day, both of those camps didn't feel that the fight was right for them at this time. At the time it was to get him.
Todd, let's be honest about this. That Saudi money changed, the Saudi Arabian money changed the timeline for everyone. And Adam and I have been having a very strong and vigorous debate tonight for the last 2 hours. My argument is this, and it kind of backs up in some ways. I might get pilloried over this for what you're saying, which is, let's judge all these guys in the end on the timeline of their entire career, not at a snapshot in time right now. This is a one-off, an event, a sideshow, a fight between the MMA, the former UFC heavyweight champion, and the WBC heavyweight champion. I don't mean it's a bit of fun, because it's still a fight. There is some jeopardy for each other physically in the ring. No,
come on, it's not.
No, there's still dangers.
What's the danger?
Well,
what's the danger for
still
Tyson
get
Fury?
hurt.
The danger is the guy lands a punch.
Yeah,
But he's not going to do that.
Tyson-
Todd, you've watched a lot of boxing. You know he's not going to land a punch. He's not going to do that. MMA striking and boxing sweet science are completely different things. Francis Ngannou is not going to land on Tyson Fury.
But I want to get back to. Let's get back to. We can talk about that. That's a whole different question. So Gareth, get to what you were saying about the Saudi money. So I want to go. I want to kind of weed through all of this.
Yeah. So I might have slightly lost my train of thought there, but I want you to answer Adam's question as well, because it is fascinating, and it is going to be the debate all the way up to it. Can he land a punch? That is going to be the debate. But that because of the chess game, the Game of Thrones that is going on, there is an end game for everyone. And my question to you is, with all this money happening, and you guys are based in Vegas. Well, I see you're in Colorado today, because I know your room where you do your Zooms from. You're up in the mountains. But Vegas isn't the home of the biggest fight nights anymore. It's moving towards the Middle East. That's where the biggest money is. Even though this is happening right now, do you believe we're going to see Fury against Joshua and Fury against Usyk in this era? Because those are the key fights for your guy, Tyson Fury, in my view. Do you believe he will fight those two guys?
I do. I really do. And I think it should have happened. And I think we could talk about, the Middle East revenue that they have been dangling around the category, not only boxing, but all of sports, is something that we all have to take very seriously today. And I think to indict only boxing isn't fair, right? Messi almost ended up there. You have Live Golf in front of Senate hearings because the PGA and them are coming together in a union. You have rumors that they're going to get involved in tennis, the Middle East. So I think to look at it and just indict the sport, or just to say this is what's happening, isn't fair. We have seen since pre-COVID, 2019 was where we really saw the rise of the Middle East wanting to bring big events to their region to host events. So I think it's a constant. It's going to be around for a while. I think it's something all sports have to accept. But I do believe it has some complications to it, where the athletes see this very over big flowy pot of gold, and it gives them apprehension to take other opportunities when they think this pot of gold could be there for them. And that does complicate it. But agreed. I do believe absolutely in a perfect world, Tyson should fight both of those. Stop. The end. Period. He should fight both of them. They both should come to the table. We should both do it. It shouldn't be tethered to some unrealistic revenue streams that aren't really, sustainable over a long period of time. It could be in the UK, if it was Wembley, if it was the States, if it was Madison Square Garden, if it was Saudi Arabia or anywhere. They should fight. The end.
On other fights that you've got going on, I've kind of alluded at the start of the conversation. Teofimo Lopez was umming and ahhing as to whether he was or whether he wasn't going to retire. We've heard this week that he's going to stick around, which is great after the performance that he put in against Josh Taylor. And there's noise that a person that you've been working with quite closely in recent times, Devin Haney, could be the next viable option. Is that something that you're pushing towards next for Teofimo Lopez?
We've had Devin. We've worked with Devin for the last couple fights. He's obviously a free agent. He can go do what he wants to do. We've had conversations with him about other fights, including Shakur Stevenson or a rematch with Loma or Teofimo Lopez. I can't decide what he's going to do. He has to say that. We obviously have some sweet fights that we think the public wants to see. If he chooses to do that, we would love to put that on. If he chooses not to do that and he wants to go fight somebody else and on another platform, that's his choice. So we believe we have the most compelling matches that the public wants, but I can't control what his decision making is.
And finally, Todd, how excited are you with your schedule from the back end of July right through to August? I'm just looking at it now, and obviously you've got interest in the fight in Japan with Naoya Inoue taking on Stephen Fulton, which is a phenomenal fight. Yep. In the middle of August, you've got Navarrete taking on Valdez, which I know a lot of fight fans...
Wait. You jumped on us. You jumped me. You forgot about Sinisa.
We've got her on tonight. We've got her on tonight in the next section.
You have her on tonight.
She's on she's on in half an hour.
I'm going to call her right now and say that you just blew over her.
I apologise.
That was Adam, not me.
Yeah, it was me. But then obviously that hurtles us towards August 19th and Beterbiev Smith, where we've got British interest in that fight as well, which is, again, another cracking fight in the light heavyweight division.
Yeah, I think our schedule for... the consistency that we're looking at, and with our partner, obviously it's a sweet spot for us to give big fights on linear television on ESPN, because you only really have baseball right now. We don't have the NBA, we don't have hockey, we don't have NFL, right? That's kind of playing it out. So we load it up, and we think that our July and August schedule is as good as anything you're going to see. And back to back, I mean, the Smith Beterbiev fight is fantastic. I think in the Navarrete, Valdez fight reminds me of Morales Barrera all over again. It's a good fight. Is just so reminiscent of it. Tickets have been just flying off the shelves in Arizona. And then, I think Jared Anderson coming right back is what this sport needs, is activity, right? Frequency is a key component to making guys people aware of them, and making their skill sets rise. And he did a fantastic rating with Martin the other night on ESPN, did over 1 million views across the board, and we think bringing him right back was a real important thing, and we're going to let him shine again.
Look forward to speaking to Sinisa a little later on, and obviously looking forward to that schedule as well. Thank you so much for joining us on the show, Todd. Have a wonderful rest of the day.